Sri Lanka is touring Pakistan for a bilateral, and Zimbabwe is set to join them next week for a T20 tri-series. Now, the series between Pakistan and Sri Lanka is just one match old, but tensions are on the rise. And that's because of what's happened in Islamabad just a couple of days ago. It's the aftermath of one of the worst suicide bombings in Pakistan. Sri Lankan authorities are in communication with their Pakistan counterparts, the cricket board, and of course, the Interior Minister of Pakistan, Mohsin Naqvi. But here's the thing, the series will go on despite the players expressing their fear and a desire to return home. A fact that should be most disconcerting for any of us. Let me break down the sequence of events leading up to this first. On Tuesday, the 11th of November, an attack in the middle of the day killed 12 people. It occurred right outside district court buildings, so a heavily crowded area. Now, the cricket teams themselves, though, are not in Islamabad. They are in Rawalpindi. That's just 17 kilometers away, though. But this is not about proximity alone, and nor is it about this one instance. The matter is trauma of the Sri Lankan cricket squad being subjected to a horrific attack that rocked the cricket world back in 2009, a nightmare ordeal that brought cricket to a standstill in Pakistan. Marked gunmen attacked the team in Lahore. 6 members of the team's security detail and 2 civilians were killed in the process. I'll of course not forget those visuals. It is seared in my brain. So too many others, including those who were right there. So imagine Sri Lanka. Though of course the personnel, the players, they've all changed hands, it still involves their country. So when this then current set of Sri Lankan players appealed and reached out to their board to get them back home and forget the series, ditch it midway, you can understand where that fear comes from, where this plea comes from. But here is what happened instead. On Wednesday, a day after the suicide bombing, there was a meeting between Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi, who also is of course PCB chairman, like I've said, and the Sri Lankan High Commission. Key officials of both the cricketing teams were also present. Assurances were given to Sri Lanka that this was just a one-off, that nothing will affect the bilateral or the tri-series that Sri Lankan players have to stay on for. Naqvi also inspected the stadium right after, so Pakistan clearly is trying to do all they can to make sure nothing further untoward happens. But has it not already? Sri Lankan cricketers made themselves clear they do not want to play in fear. Yet the latest is this. The SLC, Sri Lankan Cricket Association, has instructed their team to stay put and honour their commitments. Now, I understand this series is important for both countries. Let's look at Pakistan first. I don't quite remember the last time this bunch celebrated something iconic. Sure, there was that test series against England. It was a monumental victory, but that has been just one silver lining. In years of losses, captaincy and coach changes, multiple sackings, and a cricketing system that's simply been in chaos. So every moment here on, of course, is critical, if not for their own team and form, for the optics. Look at Pakistan as a cricket host. They finally got the opportunity to co-host the ICC Champions Trophy, an ICC event, a tournament that was marred by infrastructural issues, delayed stadium handovers, poor fan turnout, and of course the home team knocking themselves out without a single win. So making sure this series here, however small, goes on without any sense of turbulence is crucial. No wonder Mohsin Naqvi, whose Twitter feed is as infamous as his own actions over the last few months, in gusto said this. You can use the big, heavy words, Mr. Naqvi, sportsmanship, solidarity, trying to show what a great gesture Sri Lanka has made. But all this does is set a precedence, and a bad one at that, one that has very little to learn from. Because Sri Lanka also is a country in transition, yet another Asian country that is trying to reignite a passion they lost somewhere along the way. A country that once produced sheer brilliance, but also fell off the wagon and is desperately hoping to rebuild and work their way up again with a sense of renewed vigor under someone like Sanat Jayasuriya. So every match, every series is critical for them to build on some momentum and keep their cricketing ambitions afloat. But this is what I ask: how many blips and mishaps will we as spectators and observers on the sidelines continue to watch and proceed to unsee? Because that's what taking no action means. It means unseeing all that's going on. Terror continues to strike regularly. It's not a one-off. How lengthy a rope does Pakistan as a cricketing country truly deserve? Think about it. Here's a country where their own cricketer's home was attacked by gunmen, forcing the pacer Naseem Shah here to stay with the Pakistan squad and not at his own home in his own country. This happened just a couple of days ago. So while we understand the need for second chances and the need to help cricketing countries in the fold only grow by supporting each other, there can, however, be no substitute for a lack of accountability. All these instances only make us continue to question Pakistan's credibility as a cricketing nation, a cricketing system, and a cricketing host.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.